Hello, it is Tuesday night. It is 6:52. I'm on ice at 8:30. I've just had a phone call or a message from a player in my team asking if it's possible for me to go by the store and pick up a visor on the way to training, which was not the plan. The plan was to try and to get to the rink as quickly as possible because we have a kind of get together. Some of the guys meet up kind of early. It's called Coffee Club. Usually kind of catch up, talk about their day, their week, whatever else. So I'm probably going to be late for that now. I've literally just got everything organised. As we can see, I said earlier on, Pamela had changed the way everything is in the shed or in here at the moment. Big changes coming soon. I am just about to leave and head to hockey. So this must be women's logic. When you say to your partner, I'm going to get something from the shop. Example, Pamela, I have to go to the shop early tonight. I have to go and pick up a visor for one of the boys. Alright, okay, see you later. She deals with the orders. She knows what the stock is. When you get to the store, there's no visors. Then when you call her and say, did you know there's no visors? Yeah, I knew there was no visors. They're ordered for this week. So last night was the first night I'd been on the ice in probably about 5-6 weeks. And I can say today the body is a little sore. So the first thing I have on the agenda today is going to the gym. So it's 11 minutes past 2 in the afternoon. The plan is to go to the gym for an hour, get myself a little stretch, get myself a little workout, and then get to the store and see what tonight brings. So I know I said I'd see you later on in the shop, but I'm just finished the gym. It's 3:26 in the afternoon. I'm heading home for a quick shower and then obviously head to the store as quickly as I can. Try and see if we can be early tonight for a change. There has been something that came up on my timeline on Facebook today, and believe it or not, the date is the 23rd of April, and that is 1 year on YouTube. So we have managed to accomplish 1 year on YouTube, and there's over 100 videos that we've made. So we are extremely proud of the fact that Pamela and I have managed to do over 100 videos, provide you guys with content, and obviously hopefully we can build upon that and build upon the followers. At present, I think we had 315 subscribers. We've dropped to 312 in the last couple of days. Watch time is at an all-time high, which is great. Obviously you would expect that the channel would grow and grow and grow and get bigger, and that's the plan. That is the aim of the channel, to get as big as possible, to try and see if we can meet a bigger reach. So there will be an announcement in the next video about the brands that we're going to be dealing with going forward. Well, it might be in this one, you never know, so stay tuned and you'll maybe see some exciting news. So yes, we're extremely proud of the fact that we've managed to make it a year on YouTube. It hasn't been the easiest of things. There's a lot of learning curves, especially with videos and comments and our style of editing and videoing. Obviously the first video that I made, it took me nearly a full day to edit. Now I can edit a video in maybe 20-30 minutes, add music to it and get it out and get it away and get rid of the buts from Pam and myself. Like I say, it's not exactly been the most easiest trying to facilitate a YouTube channel, try and work a business, work for a business and promote a business and work a second job, which obviously in the last little while the second job had to take a back seat because the shop is obviously more important. It's not been the easiest over the last couple of years with the fire, COVID and COVID loans and trying to keep the business up and running. It's, like I said, it's been very, very difficult, and there is obviously big things that are happening in the very, very near future that will hopefully cement our place in the hockey community. You would expect that we would have been able to cement our place in the hockey community after 14 years, but it has been through a lot of adversity, and if we're being 100% honest, it's not the easiest of jobs, and I wouldn't change that. But one thing I would change is I would like it to be able to be a bit more self-sustainable and something that we actually don't have to continuously have to put our own cash into to be able to keep going. When I say that, it's one of these situations where it's a passion for us, it's a passion project, and it's something that we have done the entire time that Pamela and I have been basically together. 14 years, there's been highs, there's been lows, there's been people that's came between us, there's been family that we fell out with, and yeah, I can say we're better for it. I just hope that one day we can look back on all of this and laugh at it and know that we are doing the right thing. Ice hockey in Scotland is not a very prevalent sport. It's not the biggest earner. especially if you are in Scotland. A lot of stores in Scotland have came and went over the last couple of years, and we wish the best of luck to the stores that have came into the business in the last year or two, diplomatically. And this isn't me being horrible in any way, shape or form. You've got it easy because you haven't had to weather the COVID storm. If you guys had to weather the COVID storm, I wonder if you would have made it. It's been very, very difficult, and as we say, we put our heart and our soul into this. We put our heart and our soul into the YouTube channel. We put our heart and our soul into the store. Yes, we make mistakes. We're human. But at the end of the day, it's what we've done for the last 14 years, and I kind of feel like I'd be lost without it. So again, Pamela had said in previous videos, thank you very much for your ongoing support. We appreciate it. We need it at times to bring us back to normality when we think that it's the wrong thing that we've done. Right, so on the back of the fact that we are now a year on YouTube to the day, and like I said before, the date is the 23rd of April. This is a little segment I'm going to call Ask Pam, and I'll see if I can come up with a jingle or something like that. If I can't, then you know I've been kind of against the cosh here and I've not been able to get the video out in time. But what has been your most memorable thing of, one, being on YouTube, and two, being in the store for 14 years?
We'll start with the store. So there's been many highs and many lows, but the most memorable will probably be, there's many. We've had many professional players and highs from them, friendships that have maintained to this day, Eddie McGrain being one of them, and him bringing the boys to the shop who are now playing a good hockey level themselves, and they were just two tiny wee blonde-headed boys that were kind of firing about the shop, and so that I like, that's memorable. That I like that. Memorable was the day that we formed the business, set the business up, when we first got our first funding behind us, our first bank loan, and we knew that it was going to become a reality. When we got the shop, the first shop, and we signed the lease and we started the work and moved in. The opening night, the first night, the very little stock that we had. So when you got the big machine in and we had to refurbish it all, and we got that given to us. So
what about the YouTube? What's your highlight so far about being on YouTube for the last year?
I love, like, when people come up to you and say, I watch your YouTube, I find it really interesting. I still find it really difficult to take that as a compliment, because I can't possibly understand why anybody finds this interesting other than us, because we do it, we love it. That's hard. I like that. I mean, that's not, sounds like, oh, I got a compliment, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good because I've always enjoyed making people happy. I've always enjoyed making the customers satisfied, and you know yourself how much I'll kick myself when it goes wrong and I don't get it right, or I drop the ball and I let people down. So I love satisfying the customers and giving them a good service.
Right, so what's the hardest thing about being in the store and being on YouTube?
So the hardest thing about being in the store has got to be letting customers down for numerous reasons. Stock not being available in the UK, sometimes orders just go really wrong and I drop the ball. If it's going to go wrong, it'll go dramatically wrong. I would say my success rate is about 90% of the time, but there is just that one or two times where it just goes horrendously wrong, and probably all to blame on me. And I hate that. That's difficult, because you go home, it's not like a job where you leave at the door, you go home, you overthink it. Could I have done that better? Could I have done that? It's all my fault. If I'd just done that, if I'd just done this, if I'd just done the next thing. And then there's the whole aspect of juggling so many aspects of your own life that you just forget. I can't memory like a goldfish, so there's times where I don't write things down and then I completely forget. So I've tried to develop mechanisms over the years. Our order book's one example of write it all down so I don't forget. So that's probably the bad points, I would say. Bad point, very seasonal, so it gets very quiet in the summer, and then you start to get a bit itchy because you're thinking, oh God, nobody's coming in. I always think there's that paranoia at the back of my brain thinking, what if nobody comes in next week? What if nobody comes in next month? What if this is it? What if nobody orders ever again? You've got that constant paranoia, that constant panic thinking, is this the end of our customers? And it's totally irrational, but that's where my brain goes to. Bad things about YouTube, or the difficult things about YouTube, you're laying your whole life out there. You're showing what we are, who we are. We don't show everything. There is aspects of our life. I don't show my health problems very often, or try not to. I keep them personal. There's parts of our life we do keep personal, but we do put a lot out there, and there's people just got horrible comments to make because that's the world we live in now, and that's their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion, but it does get you down. It's hard because you are. And I will say another difficult thing about YouTube is trying to keep up with the content, and you know I'm really bad at that.
So, with that retrospect, how much content how much do you actually put into the YouTube?
I say I probably put about 10% in.
How many videos have you edited?
None. I can edit on TikTok, but I can't. Well, I have done a few TikToks. I've edited along the road, but you're fantastic at CapCut, and it would take me hours to learn it all. Not that I'm not against learning it, but it's time for us. The same as the sharpening machine. I'd love to learn how to sharpen. I'm never going to be as good as Steven in any shape or form, but I'd love to do the basics on the machine.
It's something that can be taught, and I think you're more than willing to learn, and I think it's something that you're capable of doing for both. I just think, for me, I think with regards to the editing has taken at least a year to become relatively proficient in it, and it's something you would obviously need to sit and look at.
So shall we turn the camera back to Steven now?
Right. We'll see if we can change it round.
Alright, so here we have Steven in the hot seat. Dun, dun, dun. And we're just going to fire some questions over at Steven. So we'll start with very similar. What has been your most memorable moment in the 14 years of the shop?
The most memorable moment for myself was us having a box at playoffs with the Elite League, and obviously the fact that we took the whole family to the playoffs, and we had a private box. We obviously travelled down and we had a good weekend down there. With regards to that, I would probably say that's the kind of one of the highlights that I've had of the store over the little while. Yes, the store paid for that, and that was because the store was doing really well at the time. I would probably say highlights for the store itself was seeing Drew Miller's skates coming into the store. Didn't actually bring them in himself, they were brought in through the equipment manager for the clan at the time. I suppose it's another fact that I managed to get to sharpen someone's skates that played for the team that I support. I'm looking over here because I can see a Red Wings logo, and obviously Drew's up on the wall with a signed canvas. The fact that I'm a Red Wings fan, it was quite good.
The most memorable moment of YouTube?
I would probably say the most memorable moment in YouTube is the fact that we've only just hit 300 followers. Now, we have went up to, I was saying earlier on in the video, that in the kind of, I was using the Insta360 Go after the gym. You probably already have seen that, and Pamela doesn't know about this yet, but I said about how I was really grateful for the fact that we made the 300 mark, and we had went to 315, but we had dropped back down to 312 with regards to subscribers. I know that we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it kind of fills me with a sense of pride, the fact that we've actually taken the leap of faith to jump onto YouTube and trying to show you guys our life. Yes, we do put a lot out there, and it's not necessarily everything you get to see. There is stuff that has to stay between myself and Pamela, i.e. how the business is actually run, the financial state of the business, all that kind of stuff, but at the same point it's for us to deal with.
What has been the most difficult moments for the shop over the last 14 years?
The difficult moments is every off-season for me. Every off-season it fills me with a sense of anxiety and dread, the fact that we may go under. And the reason why I say that is we run this place so close to the bone that when it comes to the off-season with regards to cash flow is next to non-existent. So we have to try and make as much money as we can throughout the season to be able to put that away to cover us for the off-season. Now, because it's a sessional sport or a seasonal sport, especially in Scotland, you find that your skate sharpenings will dry up, your people buying equipment will dry up. Like example being tonight, it is 6 minutes past 6. We've had one customer in the store tonight for a sharpening, and that it can play on your mental health a little bit, if I'm being honest. Obviously, that's the kind of one of the main things. The main culprit was the fire. The fire absolutely nearly ruined me. It nearly ended me. I was nearly not here because of the fire. And when I say that, it got very, very dark at times. And obviously, I managed to pull myself out of that, and we are still here. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you never know. It's one of these situations where you constantly, as a business owner, doubt yourself every single day, and I don't think you wouldn't be human if you didn't doubt yourself. You're always constantly asking yourself, is it the right thing that we're doing? And yeah, that's probably what I would say with regards to the store.
What is the most difficult part of running the YouTube?
The most difficult part of running the YouTube is the negativity that's been around the channel. There has been people that have messaged me privately and told me to go and not be here and alive myself, shall you say. There has been people that have been very, very negative about things that's been said on with regards to brands. There's been people that have been very, very negative about things that we have spoken about on the channel. Nothing specifically that kind of reaches out and comes to the front of my mind at this moment. They're just, the negativity is the kind of the bad thing.
So that's a good point to the bad points. Try to think of another question. What is your ideal future for the shop? Where would you wish to take the shop going forward?
So if there's a couple of caveats with this one with regards to how we move forward. If we move forward in the current state that we are in at the moment, I would like the shop to be self-sustainable, and what that means is it's able to actually pay us a wage and be able to be a successful business again. And when I put the caveat of again, it was a successful business up until probably the fire, and then after the fire we were just on the way up again, and then COVID hit, and then we've been kind of on our behinds for the last, want of a better word, for the last couple of years since that. We have done nothing but fight for the business, and I'd like to just be able to have that enjoyment about coming back into the store and not worrying anymore. I would like to see the clothing come back. I would like to see the shop be busier. I'd like to see the shop hold more stock. The situation with regards to that is obviously we need fresh investment to an extent, and where that fresh investment comes from is ourselves, and being able to try and free up capital to be able to allow that to happen. If we, by some chance, win the lottery and we come into money, the store is going to be double, triple the size of what it is at the moment. There will be, the plan originally for Cold Blooded Sports was to be able to have coaches on hand to help with off-ice training. There would be some sort of gym added to the repertoire as well, where we would have a training facility which would be hockey specific stuff. I already have a couple of people in mind for that specifically, and there would be hockey specific personal training, hockey specific circuit classes, things like that would maybe be able to help. I'd like to see, if money was no object, us have our own rink and a youth development programme in place in some way, shape or form. Yes, I understand this is all pipe dreams, but specifically it would be clothing.
Unless of course there's multi-millionaires that want to help bankroll it.
Exactly.
Any billionaires out there want to free up some cash somewhere?
So specifically it would be bringing back our clothing, whether that is under the Fighting Major, which is our second brand that we have still technically got. Well, at least we've got the website for that. The next part would be the clothing for Cold Blooded Sports again, to try and develop that a little bit more, put a wee bit more time and effort into that. Like I say, stock, eventually a training facility of some description. The big thing that we wanted to do, we spoke about this before, was having the skating treadmills, have people that were able to coach players how to skate properly, have people that were able to teach people how to shoot the puck properly, have off-ice facilities to be able to, for stick handling clinics, things like that, be able to develop the younger talents that are coming through in Scotland, and have Cold Blooded Sports as not just a hub for ice hockey equipment, but have it as a hub for training in some way, shape or form to develop the game. That's my kind of answer, long-winded.
It's interesting. If you didn't have the shop, where do you think you would be now?
If I didn't have the shop, I would probably still be working in the sports centre. If I'm being honest, the shop was the kick up the ass that I needed to try and get my life in order. Working in the sports centre was something that I did from a very, very young age. I was 17 when I started working in there, and I started off as an ice steward, and then it developed into a night shift security when the ice rink shut down. Then I developed into a security guard of some description. Then I moved to a different sports centre and was in charge of a full centre myself, bringing in stock orders, bringing in people to use the facilities, booking people in, running classes, things like that. I did the whole shebang, and then what happened after that was that centre was sold, and I moved back into another centre, which was Linwood Sports Centre, or at the time, the old sports centre is now no longer there. The personal development plans that company had were genuinely quite good. You could develop and you could progress, but a lot of it was like everywhere else, if your face fits, and I think I was a wee bit too outspoken for that wee kind of situation. But that's just my opinion. I would have continued on with that. I don't know if I would have looked into trying to see if I could get a computing job, because I am a qualified computer technician, but I actually hate computers now. It's one of these situations where this computer, I don't have the time and effort to fix it.
It's not been hammered.
It will be hit with a hammer at some point, I suppose.
Maybe we should YouTube that.
Shop owner
satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly don't know where it would be. There's been so many things that I've done over the years, working in the sports centres, working in the ice rinks. I mean, that's 3 sports centres that I've worked in. That's 2 ice rinks I've worked in. I've worked as a bus driver. Realistically, over the 14 years I've been in here, my main concern is this place. It's always been this place. I say my main concern, obviously my main concern is Pamela, her health and well-being, and the kids children. And the dogs. But this has always been in the forefront of my mind, and trying to progress this place as much as possible.
So how young were you when you first began the dream of a hockey shop?
Genuinely, I told Pamela the story about this a couple of days ago, and the story is when I was 9 years old, on a bus to Telford. It was the reason why I was on the bus to Telford was myself and my cousin. My cousin's family and my cousin's father used to be the bus convener for the Paisley Pirates, and it was basically the supporters club, and we were on the bus going down to Telford to watch a game. And my cousin and I were, by the time we hit Glasgow, both of us used to have this thing. My cousin David, we spoke about how we were going to have an ice hockey shop, and he would own all of the goalie equipment in the world, and I would own all of the player equipment in the world, and we would sell it all, and we would be multi-millionaires, and that was a dream. Now, the funny thing is you're talking 31 years on, and I'm living my dream.
David isn't playing hockey anymore.
And David was a really, really good prospect. He played for Scotland and stuff like that, and he was possibly going to go to GB, and then he decided to stop playing. His family kind of fell away from the kind of hockey scene. But yeah, so probably I'd say about from about 9 years old. So when I started playing hockey and started skating, I was 8-year-old. So it only took me a very, very short period of time to realise that was what I wanted to do, and I have realistically, I suppose I've been very, very lucky to live my dream as running an ice hockey store or working in an ice hockey store, working for Pamela. Realistically, when I was in college, we are probably talking about when I was 24, myself and my friend Callum, we actually spoke about opening a store, and it's been something that's been on the forefront of my mind for a long, long time. And at times I think it's the best thing I've done in the world, and other times I think it's the worst thing in the world, because the stresses, the strains that come with this place is unbelievable, and a lot of people don't realise. Everyone thinks that this place is bringing in loads of money, and it's not the case at all. And it's been hard, it's been very, very hard, but it is satisfying to know that we've managed to make 14 years in a business, which there's not very many other stores have been able to do.
Do you think Sam will follow in your footsteps? Do you think any of the kids will follow into the business? Or
if I'm being totally honest, if the business is still here when Sam's older, I could see Sam taking over from the repairs and the sharpenings and stuff like that. I think he's got a keen eye for taking things apart and putting things back together, which I've mentioned before on the channel. I could definitely see Sarah stepping into the position of doing stuff the same as Pamela. She's very academic that way, and I definitely think it would suit her in that role. But at the same point, I would never hold them back if they want to do something different. If Sam wants to go and play hockey somewhere else, if he's going to continue to play hockey, that is, I would support that 110%. If he decided that he wanted to not play hockey and be an engineer of some description, which I think he could be, I would 100% support that as well. Same with Sarah. Sarah's basically, she could argue that black was white, and I think she's going to be a lawyer of some description.
If she's not a lawyer, then...
At the same point, yeah, I would like to see them follow in our footsteps, but at the same point, I wouldn't like to see them have to deal with the stresses and strains that we have to deal with. At times, like I said, this place has taken absolutely everything that we've had, whether that's been cash, whether that's been time, effort, blood, sweat and tears, whatever you think. But at the same point, like I said previously, it's both the best and worst thing we've ever done.
So what's for the future then? For the next season?
So, do you think I can say that one? So for the future, the exclusive deal that we have just signed is with KYC Hockey, and we will be the only store in the UK that can sell and distribute KYC products in the UK. That means that we are going to be the only place where you're able to get KYC ice hockey sticks, the only place where you're going to be able to buy KYC bags, and the only place in Scotland or in the UK that can sell KYC gloves, which are in development at the moment, and I'm due to hopefully see a set of them within the next month. We have been working behind the scenes to try and provide another option when it comes to ice hockey sticks. There's been a lot of talk in the hockey community about certain brands not having longevity and being too expensive, and it's something that we've been looking at, and it's a very exciting time for Cold-Blooded that we can then offer things like this. There is another company that we are working with as well, but I'll refrain from saying who they are at the moment. But the main thing is we're going to be the main brand ambassadors for KYC and the main place for you guys to be able to get them. And if you've watched the hockey tutorial video on them, they come highly recommended, and I can't wait to get my hands on them to see exactly what all the hype is about. Fortunately for myself, the sample sticks that are coming, 2 of the sample sticks are going to be standard spec, and 1 of them is going to be my full custom spec or partial custom spec, so I will be able to actually try it and give you guys an honest opinion on the brand. Yes, a lot of people might think that we're putting all of our eggs in the one basket with regards to having only one brand, that we're going to be a store that sells that and the only place that we can get that from. We're still going to sell Warrior, we're still going to sell CCM, and probably still going to sell Bauer as well. But with regards to this manufacturer or this company that we're going to be representing in the UK, it gives you guys an alternative, especially a cheaper alternative to a top end model stick, which is the same weight or lighter than the performance aspects of some of the other models. So yes, that is a big news. We are going to be the only place in the UK where you can buy these sticks. So back to Pamela, what is your plans? What would you like to see happen with the store going forward?
I would like to take the store to a more stable position. I would like to see a little bit more stock. I do not want to overstock, because we learnt that lesson the hard way, and since COVID you're very aware of 40-50 grand in stock that doesn't really go anywhere. But we've ran things so tightly since coming out of COVID. I'd like to just be able to get to a position where things are a little bit more easier. I am quite excited with the development of, I'd like to take Cold-Blooded to be a store that gives you the alternative to be an independent retailer. So we're not moving away from our big brands. We are definitely not moving away from them, but we want to offer a wider variety, and we want to be able to show you that in the store. We're not going to carry hundreds, but we want to be able to put a stick in your hand and show you a product from KYC or any other of the brands should we wish to carry them. The KYC stuff is really exciting. The guys over in Canada are amazing. They have exactly the same thought process to us, that sticks are getting really expensive, but the quality's not there behind them, and we'd like to see a more stable market with that. In regards to us personally, we are personally moving to a better position where we have a little bit more support behind us that should hopefully free up more time and more effort within the store, that we can put a wee bit more into it and get to a position where it actually stands on its own 2 feet and recovers from COVID, because it hasn't been able to take a breath and recover properly since we came out of COVID, because everything's just been too tight. So I'd like to take it to a more stable position, but unfortunately that takes capital investment. So we're moving to a position to free up some investment so we can put it into the store and move it to a better position for all of the really great customers who have stuck by us when it's been really difficult, and hopefully to all the new customers that we're going to pull in over the next couple of years, that's going to take us to new heights and see the clothing coming back, seeing different new clothing coming in, not just back but new exciting clothing, and just build the brand bigger and better than it already is. We've got 14 years experience and 14 years of a relatively good reputation. Yeah, spoke before, we've got things wrong, some things go a bit tits up. I should probably say tits up.
Yeah, you should say Empire Biscuits up.
Empire Biscuits up. But I'd like to take it that we get even less of those situations happening, and we're only going to do that with investment and time, and hopefully with where we're thinking of going personally, that should give us some more time, hopefully.
So would you like to sign off in this one for us?
So if you wish to keep supporting us, or if you're new to supporting us, please like, share and subscribe, and tell your friends to do so as well, and we'll see you on the next one.